we have three different companies essentially represented here today. And I think that's a really exciting place to start because you're all coming to this from different perspectives and we're taking different pieces of this puzzle. But Peter, I'm going to start with you because, you're the guy from the truck company. And so, there was a decision for Daimler Trucks to get into autonomous trucking. And I think that's sort of where a lot of this started. So what was the vision there? Why this technology?
First of all, there's a real big business need in trucking. And if you make your strategy, how to optimize, so in the beginning it was all about fuel, reducing fuel consumption, electric. But then the biggest other need for the industry was really the driver shortage. And so it became pretty clear that's a topic. If Daimler Trucks or here on this end with Torc, we could address this topic, we can unlock a ton of potential and doing good for the industry, but also creating complete new profit pools, service pool, creating complete new services out of this technology. And that was in the end the vision to really go into this complete new field.
And just really quick for context, because most of us don't follow the trucking space closely, right? And it was certainly eye-opening for me to understand how much demand for trucking is growing. Because I think this is, people hear about the trucker shortage problem, and it's not always clear what's causing that problem. And actually, when you look at the statistics of how fast this is growing, right? It's not only why you need this technology, but it's also a business opportunity. Is that?
Oh yeah, logistics is growing year over year, as it should be. America's population is growing, the economy is growing, so that in the end drives the needs for more goods and more goods to be moved. And then on that's just a driver if you take the freight. And what about the drivers? And there's just driver shortage, so that a lot of the younger people that do CDLs, they love the job, but they don't like to be 3 weeks away from home. So while there are enough drivers and not enough drivers that really want to do the middle mile, we hear from fleets that 85% of the drivers want to get out of the middle mile and drive well locally, be at home every night. And that's a key driver that especially drives driver shortage in the middle mile, in the long haulage segment, which I think is a prime spot segment for autonomy. And that is just a sweet spot where things come together. There's a real need in society and economy. It's growing. And you can address it with technology.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really, really well put. And so Joanna, so we have, the biggest truck maker in North America. They want to get into this space. They're not doing it entirely by themselves, though. They have a partner in this. And tell us a little bit about Torc and how you came into this partnership with Daimler Trucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I go there, I wanted to add one more thing to the prior question, because I think what's so fascinating about trucking, if you really think about everything in this room, probably came here on a truck, right? So trucks move the world, trucks move our society. And if we, with our partners, can contribute to keep them moving, then everyone benefits. So I think that was one big motivation of doing that. And then we have not just a real good business case, but we also do good for society. So with that, yes, partnerships are absolutely critical for our success. We realized very early on that we cannot do it all alone. And in 2019, we entered this partnership with Torc Robotics because we realized they really have the capability to not just bring out a cool demo, but really drive also this towards series product and a product release. Plus, they had already run a business. They've been in the mining industry, in the military industry. They've already made money with it. And I think it's critical that you understand that this is not just a great headline, but you need to be ready and work together to drive this towards a business. So ultimately, we can put a product out there that benefits us all. And then with that, there's also other partnerships. And that's why we're here today, that we're striking, because there's multiple elements that need to come together to ultimately make this a product. On the one hand side, you need the truck. This is the platform. This is what Daimler Truck North America as the OEM is providing. You need the self-driving software, the mission control, and you also need all the AD, the autonomous driving hardware, and all those components being series production ready, being commercial vehicle grade ready. And that's where our partner Aeva comes in.
Yeah, and over the last few years of the autonomous vehicle space, there's been all this sort of focus on full stack companies, and the idea that one company has to do it all on its own. But I think when you think about the strengths of of course a high tech startup doing the software and that kind of nimble culture, and then you have the OEM culture of validating things and proving them to a level of reliability and making them efficiently and shipping product and doing it all profitably. These are very complementary things, but I think it's taken the space a little while to understand how important these partnerships are, because so even then when you have, those two complementary companies, Torc and Daimler, coming together, you still need that critical other piece, which is the sensing hardware. And Suresh, tell us why is LiDAR such an important piece of trucking in particular?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think LiDAR, it's pretty clear in the industry now, LiDAR has become a critical component for enabling automated driving on the highway, especially, right? And I think in the trucking space, we've seen especially that there's a number of things that make the use cases super crucial. And I think this is something I think Peter and Joanna can comment really well on is, it's not just about getting, the first available technology that you can put on and go to production with. It's actually about, can you address those use cases that allow autonomous truck to actually work autonomously on the highway at highway speeds? I think that's where I think FMCW, our 4D LiDAR technology also comes into play, is that where we can provide some of this additional dimension. For example, the fourth dimension of velocity that provides that unique capability of being able to decipher what is what. If you get a couple points on the object, is that two people? Is that one car? Is that noise? What is? And having that velocity association of those 2 points or 3 points, even to 500 meters, gives you some really crucial feedback, which becomes pretty important, especially on the highway where things are dynamic, right? So, but I think that's bringing LiDAR into the autonomous trucking space is also not an easy task. We have spent past 7 years working towards multiple iterations of our product, qualifying them from kind of A samples all the way now to our latest Atlas system that has a final ASIC chip, the final what we call X1 and 4 vision modules, to really bring this forward in a mature and production-ready process. So, and obviously, I think, gaining the trust and also, I would say, the vote of confidence from one of the largest OEMs globally is, I think, the cherry on top. Yeah.
It absolutely is. And so, there's no shortage of LiDAR companies here. I think just sitting here, I could probably see like 4 of them, right? So you had plenty of companies to choose from for this. And again, as we were discussing, right, you're talking about trucks, so high speeds, got to see really far in the distance. LiDAR is a really, really crucial, piece of making what you're trying to do safe. Why Aeva? Why this partnership? You had plenty of other choices.
Yeah. In principle and theory, but we are robot trucking, not robot taxi. And what is really different, we are driving with 80,000 pounds at 70 miles per hour. We have 0 error margin. And the truck does not brake like a car, so you need more vision to the front and even more vision to the back, because the truck also does not accelerate. So if you do mergers or lane changes, you need to know much better what's coming from behind as the motorcyclist approaching, because you can't do any spectacular maneuvers. So that's why the huge selection you have out here that works for cars might not work for trucks. And the 4D technology is just better for us. Because, it has the same thing like a normal time of flight LiDAR. You're sending out a LiDAR pulse, it's coming back, time of flight, you measure the distance, not guessing like from cameras, that's also super important for us. But now on top you have the velocity information. And if now there are 2 points out there in 500 meters, do they belong together or not with time of flight? Super hard to tell. With 4D, super easy, same speed, same direction, they obviously belong together. And that's how you can extend your range to the front and even more important to the back. And that's why, and they're not, I'm not aware that there's any FMCW company of that maturity state like ever. And that's what we liked really. It's not only the technology, but also the maturity state ever is in. And then the collaborative spirit. All of this, it's still in development and you need a lot of trust. And with Solution as team, we found just wonderful partners where the everyday engineering work is fun, where we have aligned targets, and where you can trust that we challenge each other, that we push forward, and so that's a trust aspect that also plays a little bit into it. And then all of this made us to the conclusion, let's ask our partner Daimler Trucks to agree that this is, because our business model is we define what we need for autonomy in terms of requirements. But as our business model, go-to-market model, is you buy it completely fit up out of the factory truck from Daimler Trucks with our software. Daimler Trucks is doing their boarding, and then also they're managing the supplier relationships. But I think Joanna is right, and we were pretty quickly aligned that Aeva is the right choice for this use case.
Yeah, pretty quickly, but I also would say we did a very thorough evaluation of the system. So to your point, you don't open a catalog and say, okay, I want this LiDAR, right? You have to go through, you have to do the work, you have to define your requirements, you have to do multiple proof of concepts. And so it's been a multi-year collaboration already getting to this point to really make that decision. And from the Daimler perspective, I would summarize maybe in 3 key points. The first, because that's so important, is safety and the technical requirements, and fulfilling the technical requirements ultimately makes sure that the vehicle is safe to operate without any human intervention. That is absolutely the first priority. Secondly, reliability. You talked about it, right? It's so critical that we have uptime in these vehicles. Our customers are only successful if they run, if there's downtime, they need lots of repair. If the lifetime requirements aren't met, it's just not a product. And then lastly, scalability. Can we grow together? Do we have modularity? Yeah, can we launch the first generation, but also work together on future generation? And will it scale not just in this first sleeper cab Cascadia, but maybe going also into other applications, maybe at some point other use cases, etc. And there's the flexibility of the technology, as I understand it, gives us that opportunity.
I also want to highlight, I think that I would say also, working through together with Joanna, Peter, and the teams at Daimler Trucks, Torc Robotics for over a long period of time. I think that's these things are not done overnight. I think, as we all said at this point, it's super important to build that trust over time, and also, that the road is up and to the right, but the line is not necessarily always smooth, right? There's got to be opposite, and you have to be able to see eye to eye and be able to address those challenges transparently. And that's, I think, something that I think is very important for us as well. And I think the significance of this program win for us is quite massive for a company at the stage of Aeva. There've been, I can safely say, I was saying earlier today, it was an overnight success, 7 years in the making, and I think it's really true. This is with Daimler Trucks, with Torc Robotics, we're raising the maturity of the I think Aeva, but also we're bringing the new technology to the industry that we think is going to add immense value on the road. I think us being able to become a direct tier 1 supplier globally becomes really important. And we fit in within a few handful of players, most of which are much larger organizations, to be able to do that. And then that goes to say around, I would say, the amount of effort, the resilience, and also being able to work through it and gain maturity in a short amount of time to do that. So that's the significance of also this deal for us.
Yeah, and I think people sometimes don't fully appreciate when you're working on the very cutting edge of new technologies. A lot of times the focus is just, can we do the thing? Whereas when you get down to making trucks and putting trucks on the road, it's not just, can you do the thing, as you said so well. Can you do it right? You can do it with no margin of error on safety, no mistakes, and also no failures, right? You need uptime and reliability. Combining these things, I kind of like to get all of your perspectives. Serge, I'll start with you though. Coming at it as the sort of, cutting edge technology supplier, what's that like to have to sort of take this new thing and get it to a point where you can deliver to the very, very high standards that are being expected of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I would say, we're extremely proud and grateful for this trust and opportunity for Aeva to work with Daimler Truck and Torc Robotics to supply our unique technology. I think this is a trust that the teams are putting on bringing this technology to the market. And at the same time, we take that responsibility seriously. I think, and that's something that we have been working on with the team. It's really starts with the people. I think we have brought in a lot of folks that have experience in automotive, including in trucking, commercial vehicles, passenger vehicles, as well as folks that have been experts in FMCW technology and also developing, bringing things to the market from very low scale to millions per quarter, and marrying all that together. I think that's one without the other wouldn't really work. You need the advanced technology. You need people to keep you in check and be able to do this. And I think over the course of a couple of years now, in the past few months, we've also had to go through, as Joanna mentioned, significant kind of qualification processes to be a viable supplier for Daimler Truck and Torc. And it's not just about the tech, it's about the maturity, it's about the supply chain, it's about manufacturing, it's about our processes, our team's processes. And, we're just getting started here. And I think this is hopefully, sets the stage for multiple years of successful collaboration here together, and also ushering a new era of safety for autonomy on the highway, powered by advanced technology. And that's, it's always exciting to be able to work together with people that, are both seeing into the future, but also with organizations that have the immense scale and capability to actually deliver it. It's not every day that you get to come across both of those together.
And so you're doing, self-driving technology AI is sort of the heart of that in a lot of ways, but you also need, right, like garbage in, garbage out is true no matter how good your AI is. And so having that sensor, again, there's so much excitement and hype around AI, and it's such a fascinating and transformative technology, but at the end of the day, having good LiDAR, good perception hardware is critical to making sure that system actually performs, right?
Yeah, you're spot on. Our stack has AI everywhere, in the stack, in the tools. But I can give you a pretty good example. I think I have a pretty good AI up here in my brain. But if I take off my glasses and I have then bad sensors, the best AI doesn't help. Better sensor is just better. And that's and then with AI it gets even better. So that's why we want to rely on the best sensors and make no compromises. Be cameras, be it radars, and especially in the LiDAR space, I think for us, for the go-to technology.
Yeah. And Joanna, I have a question for you, but really quick, I want to set it up because what you've been able to do is kind of exciting with this, where you have one piece of hardware that you can kind of do different things with, right? Tell us a little bit about that, how you do it, and then because I want to hear, from Joanna about what that sort of unlocks on their end.
Sure, yeah. I mean, look, I think our vision from day one at Aeva has been to really bring perception to a broad set of applications. Our tagline, as we talked about earlier, perception for everything. And we do mean it. It's not just like a sentence we write on the wall. And the reason is because, when we started, I would say, with more of a controversial or a different path. Most folks in this space were going after 3D or time-of-flight technology. I think we saw that there was opportunity for other ways of doing things. And we took a bet, and it took a number of years for this technology to gain traction. And even as a few years ago, it was not really kind of known that widely about the advantages you could potentially gain from FSW. But I think one thing that I think our team has been able to do quite well is been able to think from a platform perspective. So build everything at the smallest possible, most scalable increments that we can. So putting it down on the chip. LiDARs typically, especially 3D high performance LiDARs, come with a lot of componentry, often with a lot of fiber elements, with multiple detectors and lasers, others having to be aligned. This is something that we can completely get away from, and actually integrate everything down into a single photonics chip module, which we call the core vision chip. We've been doing this for many years now, the fourth version of it. And that, along with our signal processing, allows us to basically take the data from the LiDAR, process it differently, same hardware, different algorithms, can help us achieve autonomy in the highway applications, for example, passenger or trucking at half a kilometer away, or trade that out for maybe short tens of meters and achieve micron level precision, which is simply not possible in time-of-flight LiDAR, and work with folks and partners in the industrial metrology space. So that also helps us diversify our business and also have that roadmap of working with, as a perception platform provider, both in hardware as well as our perception software to our key customers.
Yeah, and if you look at I encourage you to take a look at the Atlas. It's a very elegant piece of hardware. It looks, and exactly like you said, that simplification, in a way, it's almost like your software-defined LiDAR to some extent. So Joanna, as an OEM, even if you're working with the very most cutting-edge technology, maybe even especially when you're working with cutting-edge technology, cost always matters, right? You have to do this affordably. You have to do this in a way that actually makes money. You can't just put a LiDAR on this and sell it to a private consumer and say, oh, it costs $40,000 extra and hope that they sell it. Like the dollars and cents have to work even when you're operating some of the most advanced technology in the world. So how does what Aeva is able to do with this, have one piece of hardware, have this software-defined capabilities, how does that help you make your job easier?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, right, scalability is important, and with scale, it doesn't just mean that you can cover multiple applications. It also means that you will get, economies of scale. So that's part of it as well. With a smaller part, it also means that it has to be packaged, can be packaged lighter and smaller. So one piece of that collaboration that is also going to start now is like how are we going to integrate it physically into the truck? How is it going to look like? How is it going to package in a way that it just not only looks good, but obviously it brings the aerodynamic benefits that we are proud of providing as Freightliner, but also brings manufacturability. Serviceability is important. So when we talk about cost is made out of so many different factors, and we need to look at the entire value chain from the individual part to how it integrates to later how easy can we maintain and service it. Also, and I talked about that once the lifetime, we want to make sure that this component runs over the life of the truck.
And by the way, just to add on the lifetime, this is an important piece for us as a supplier. Also, I think it's, automotive. First of all, automotive standalone has, as you know, long life cycles and cycle times of adapting new technology. I think especially commercial vehicles, what we have seen, and obviously you're the experts, the expectation is the bar is quite high. It's even higher than the passenger cars, and attention to quality, ability to deliver, durability, uptime, as Joanna Peter mentioned, but also being able to do that over the course of 10 plus to 15 years. That's something that is quite critical, and that's one of the aspects of as we are developing and going towards production that we really take care of a lot about.
So we're getting close to running out of time. I have one question, and then I want to get sort of where this is all going. But really quick, because you mentioned scale and the importance of that in cost. We talked about how this deal, for me at least, I said it. That this feels like this technology is really becoming real. One of the things about that is just the size. This is not a small purchase that you're making here, and so if you buy in bulk, right, you go to Costco for your LiDAR, you're gonna get a better deal on it. But long term, that's also bending the cost curve, which is one of the things I think having watched this space for a really long time that I've been waiting to see, as a sign that this is really becoming real. So just help explain.
As I said, we're here to build a product and to build a business, and a business is only built in large quantities. So absolutely, we assume and that expect that we will not just purchase that part in large quantities, but ultimately we'll also see, a fairly large amount of autonomous trucks running on the road towards the end of this decade. So we're ready, and with the partnerships, we will be ready to launch in series production by 2027. That's our goal, and really be at scale by 2030.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Peter, what are you looking forward to the most over the next couple of years as you build towards this?
It's really preparing Torc to make money in the year 27. Yeah, launching a product means making money, and the technology is table stakes, sir. But getting everything, the price of the truck, the running costs of the truck, the operations, the uptime, the reliability, and just designing this entire system and then getting the excitement with the fleets. It will be an incredible journey. And we are building a company here, really a business from scratch, not only a technology or product, really a business. This is super exciting and will be a large part also of our efforts over the next 3 years.
I mean, I've seen a lot of startups come, and be much more focused on raising the next round than building a real business. And I think, this conversation has given us a really good sense of, the things that have made that possible: partnerships, leveraging each other's skills, committing to scale, and just delivering great products. Drew, I'm going to give you the last word. This is it must be a really exciting, moment for you, for this deal to happen, and congratulations. But what are you excited about? What are you looking forward to over the years to come?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I would say in a few words, I'm excited about bringing this technology to market together with our amazing partners here, and with our teams, our supply base. I think we do really see the opportunity to not just bring to mass scale highway autonomy, but also do it, I think, responsibly in a way that actually business case-wise makes sense. I think you've seen this a lot. I think that the commercial vehicle space, with the immense scale of Daimler Trucks and the prowess of Torc's virtual driver stack, and I think our unique technology, we have really a winning combination here to make this a reality, and not just a press release, but as we said, the work continues and the work is just beginning. And we look forward to bringing this technology to mass scale for hopefully in the near future to deliver goods autonomously to many of us here in the U.S.
Well, I'm really excited to watch this all play out as well, and maybe hopefully someday even get a ride in one of your autonomous trucks. That would be really cool. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you so much to everyone for listening to this conversation. I hope you've learned a little bit about LiDAR and trucking and the future of where autonomous trucking is going.
Thanks for hosting us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.